The Pharaoh's pension. Peter was 62 when he finally decided he'd had enough of Manchester. After decades working as a car mechanic, his hands worn and his back stiff, he wanted warmth, simplicity, and maybe if fate was kind of little companionship. His modest pension was enough to live on in Thailand, and like so many men before him, he set off for a new chapter. The beaches of Pattaya dazzled him. Sunshine, cheap beer, friendly faces, it felt like paradise. But the real jewel was Nuan. She was 38, with long black hair, soft laughter, and a way of looking at him that made Peter feel young again. She told him he was kind, handsome, and different from other Farangs. After years of loneliness in England, Peter felt reborn. They married within a year. At first, life was bliss. Nuan cooked his favorite Thai dishes, massaged his tired shoulders, and called him my darling husband. Peter often caught himself smiling as he watched her dance around the kitchen, humming to herself. When his pension arrived each month, they would celebrate with a nice dinner by the sea. But slowly, little changes began. One evening, Nuan suggested opening a joint account. "We are married now," she said, pressing her hand to his. "In Thai culture, husband and wife share everything. If something happens to you, I must take care of the family." Peter hesitated. Back in England, he had always managed his money himself. But Nuan's eyes glistened, and she looked hurt at the suggestion that he didn't trust her. Against his better judgment, he agreed. At first it was harmless. Small withdrawals for groceries, a little money for her mother's medicine, gifts for her nephews. But then the amounts grew. Gold jewelry appeared in her drawer. She bought a new motorbike. When Peter raised an eyebrow, she said, "Darling, it is investment. In Thailand, gold always has value." Months later, Peter checked the account one morning and froze. The balance was far lower than he expected. Nearly half his pension savings had disappeared. When he asked Nuan, her smile faltered. "I needed to help my family," she said softly. "You love me? You love my family too, yes?" Peter's stomach nodded, but he let it go. He told himself it was cultural differences. Maybe he was being too suspicious. But the spending only increased. He noticed her phone buzzing late at night. When he walked into the room, she would quickly turn it face down. She started going out more often, claiming she was visiting friends. The final blow came one hot afternoon when Peter went to pay for a repair on their motorbike. His card was declined. Confused, he checked the account again. His pension, the savings he had worked his whole life for, was gone. All of it. When he confronted Nuan, she didn't cry this time. She didn't apologize. Instead, her face turned hard, her voice sharp. "You are old, man. I'm still young. Need life. You cannot control me." That night, she didn't come home. By the next morning, her clothes were gone, the motorbike missing, and her phone switched off. A neighbor later told Peter she had been seen leaving town with a younger Thai man, well-dressed and smiling. Peter sat on the balcony of the small house he had bought in her name, because foreigners couldn't legally own land. The ceiling fan buzzed above him, doing little to cut the thick heat. He stared at his empty glass of beer, his chest heavy. He thought of Manchester, of the years he had spent saving, dreaming of a peaceful retirement. Thought of how he had believed in Nuan's soft words, her gentle touch, her promises of forever. It wasn't just the money he had lost, but it was trust. It was the dream of being loved for who he was, not for what he could provide. And yet deep down, he knew he wasn't the first Farang to live this story. In every bar in Pattaya, there was a man with a similar tale, shaking his head at how he had been blinded by love and flattery. Peter poured himself another drink and whispered to the night, "Paradise has a price. I've paid mine."